Oh, gee. I guess I don't know if my red. Oh well. I'm afraid of what people would see. I'm not looking my best. I don't know. Welcome to Introspection with Jeff. Today's topic is about fears. What fears have I experienced as a child? What fears do I still have? And as as you might have guessed now, I was doing that intentionally. I did notice that I'd shaven earlier before filming the prior episodes, these last one or two episodes, and noticed my um, face is really red. um, but that I figured that would work into this topic. I didn't plan on recording this video, but I thought it'd be a nice, quick, short video, as long as I don't ramble on and go into tangents, which I tend to do, apparently. That's something I've learned from doing this. Um, all right. Um, I want to ask you in the comments to mention your own fears that you may have had as a child growing up, or maybe a fear that you feel comfortable admitting in the comments. As a child, I'm guessing, what fear would I have had? What major fears? It would probably be not fitting in or not being accepted. I can certainly say right now, the fear I have, the one fear I can put my finger on is doing work. My fear is not finishing the projects I want to I want to complete and not being acknowledged for them. Um, because I know the projects I'm working on, and I watch famous people, famous for whatever reason, like famous for just being an actor, or famous for making a new discovery, famous for completing a huge revolutionary bit of research, whatever the case. Elect there is typically a lot of work involved, and I know I put a lot of work in my stuff, projects I'm still working on, and I find that I'm worried that I'm not going to have enough time to finish them, and I think nobody really sees me for what I've accomplished. Um, and I watch these other famous people, again, famous for whatever reason, um, presumably because they've actually done something to earn the fame. And I think they're getting respect, and they're not only getting respect, but they're getting acknowledgement for what they've done. And with acknowledgement, people know who they are. Like I was just what actually what inspired this was I was watching a Star Trek special interview. It was a group of actors. It was called Captain Summit. It was a group of actors who had played various captains in the various television series of Star Trek, being interviewed by Whoopi Goldberg, and it just happened to come on. And I thought, as they were talking about making speeches at conventions and so forth, I thought, well, they've done something with their lives. Not only have they done something, but they've played like Spock or Picard or Kirk or Riker, or even Whoopi Goldberg began as a stand-up comedian. I mean, she's had such a film repertoire, or like film resume, that I forgot she even began. Basically, I think she began before she was in acting as a stand-up comedian. And I believe she continued being a stand-up comedian even while doing her acting. Um, and that's something that people can identify them with. If I were to go up to Whoopi Goldberg, for example, um, I know that I could talk about what films she had been in, or more specifically, what what film role she liked, or maybe I read something about a movie she particularly enjoyed doing, and it's through those interviews that I learn more about them as people. Um, And I identified a lot with Leonard Nimoy and William Shatner. Um, I thought this is a good opportunity to share this with all of you. Well, no, not all. I mean, you personally, um, not you, but you. um, uh, I think from what I've read and seen of Leonard Nimoy's interviews, I think I identify with him pretty well. I mean, I think we mentally follow a similar. I guess I can say this now because he's deceased, but it's kind of a shame because otherwise I would hope maybe he could see this. Um, but anyway, um, of various famous people, certain people stand out that I think my mindset kind of matches or at least follows along. I can follow along on a parallel, if not the same track. And the same thing with a bit of Rod Serling. And those who know me personally, I'd be very interested. I'd be especially interested um, in knowing whether you'd agree with me if you put it in the comments. Um, I could identify with Steven Spielberg and Rod Serling and Leonard Nimoy, not Spock. I don't want to say I was concerned talking about fears. I was afraid that people would um, think I'm thinking of myself as like Spock. No, 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 no. I mean Leonard Nimoy. Um, and occasionally I've thought William Shatner. I think primarily Leonard Nimoy. This is interesting coming from somebody who said that he didn't grow up with role models or doesn't really have a role model. I talked about that in the prior video this morning. Um, Primarily, I think my personality tends to match what I've seen of Leonard Nimoy, and there's that practical joker or that not no, I don't want to say practical joker. It's that sense of humor of William Shatner that kicks in, I think. And Rod Serling, I thought too. Now, why Rod Serling? Why Leonard Nimoy and Steven Spielberg? I think just in general. Well, all three of them. I think they're all three of them are Jewish, for starters. But I think all three of them tend to let um, their imagination kick in, not just imagination, but they channel their imagination in a very constructive, diligent, serious way. I mean, my take on Leonard Nimoy is that he he's very concerned about seeing that it goes well, not just his own role. I mean, it's not just selfish for him, but I mean that he has pride in what he's doing, and the project overall is done well. And in some sense, I wonder if at some point he considered himself a perfectionist too. Um, and I know Rod Serling thought deeply about when he was doing the Twilight Zone. He, it's my understanding, other people have credits is based on a story by, but he did have a huge involvement in his own series, the Twilight Zone, and he thought he would think deeply about these topics and themes. And somebody that I've well, all right. Somebody in my past has mentioned that I think deeply about things. I mean, the person seemed kind of surprised, not quite surprised, more like um, that I remarked that I stood out as extraordinary because I thought deeply about various things. Um, and I also understand, I can relate to Leonard Nimoy um, getting involved in, for example, he did a book on Kabbalah, some aspect of the Shekhinah, which is an aspect studied in Kabbalah. It's part of Kabbalah. And he also, I think, has a very visual sense. of things, very a visual instinct. Um, he would take a topic. Well, he's done some photo books. He's done one on Kabbalah. He did one on beauty in general, and he had pictures of um, large women, and he was questioning what beauty what defines beauty or what is considered beautiful. Um, he's very thoughtful as a person, as a creator, and I can identify with that. Um, and he also um, tends to think before he speaks, and I've noticed that what he says is very well thought out. The word choice he uses seems very good and very skilled. Um, so it's interesting. I start off with a topic of video, a topic for the video of fear, and now I'm talking about certain actors and famous people that I relate to. Anyway, okay, so acknowledgement. So um, if somebody were to go up to Leonard Nimoy, um, they can identify Leonard Nimoy as being an actor playing Spock, Star Trek. Other things he's done, the books the photo books he's done, his other work, various charities. William Shatner has done various charities. They can relate to him on that. Those are things that they've achieved. My great fear is that I won't be able to achieve my own projects, which is a way that other people can know more about me. In other words, if I made Steven Spielberg is another example. If I made a movie and I had these different themes in the movie, that's telling a huge audience about my beliefs, what I think about a topic, my style and my techniques and my attitudes and so forth. Same way with Madonna, her creative work. Through the creative work, people can identify what she believes in, her attitudes, what she enjoys, what she doesn't enjoy. It's a way of communicating. So my own projects, I've written some scripts. I started off writing television scripts, which hadn't been made. I started to write some screenplays, and I will get to that that part two of that script writing career um, history of mine. That video, some scripts, and just various projects. In the video I filmed prior to this, I was talking about 3 ideas for songs that I would make if I had more of a music background, and so it makes me kind of sad. It makes me regretful, is perhaps the best word for it. Regretful that I may never complete those. They may never. I don't want to say complete. They may never be produced. So it was intended to be. It's about almost 15 minutes. It was intended to be a short video. I thought it was important, an important aspect of introspection. So I look forward to reading your comments below. Sincerely, I want to read what other people have thought, what their fears have been or still are, and also if anybody has felt the same fear, same couple of fears that I have, either the present one I have or the one before about fitting in, not actually not being able to fit in. Thank you, and I'll see you soon in my next video.